To run these meetings, so thanks of course to our marshals and everyone playing a part in this meeting. Let's have a look at the grid for the Junior SM90 Mini GP90 race number 1, and topping the qualifying charts this morning was Arnie Carr with a 59.24. Luca Wilkinson in second from Daniel Stevenson, Jack Newton making up the second row, Hudson Cooper in fifth from Thomas Bond. Charlie Cunningham was in 7th from Billy Carter, Charlie Ward, Brooke Champion in 10th position, Owen Tempest, Pierce Reeves sitting in 12th on the grid, Finley Hanna in 13th from Logan Connolly, Leo Soliu 15th position, Ollie Brooks, Jack Beard and Ava Cushing, not representing a lap time in qualifying, will start in 18th position. A real variety of lap times out there, and as Jake mentioned earlier, there's been changeable conditions this weekend. I would expect some of those times to tumble as the racing gets underway. Final preparations taking place in the waiting zone at the moment. Marshals, I believe, will be on their points in a few moments, and we'll be ready for the afternoon's racing in just a few moments.
But it's good to see him out there getting his run. Oh no, sorry, that is Arnie Carr, my apologies, who's on the number 1, although actually he's running as 83. So just to confuse you, but Arnie Carr will be running from the front of the field in the 83. I spoke to him briefly. He didn't have much to say. But it's fine. You know, he's obviously focused. He knows what he needs to do. He knows his objectives. And it's always, you know, very early doors for these guys getting into the world of television for the first time, really. And they're obviously going to build up their confidence as they go. But watch out for Arnie. His qualifying pace was lightning. The only rider in qualifying this morning to get round the circuit in under 60 seconds. So if he has that same sort of confidence with the bike early doors and he gets a decent start, none of the other riders on this field will see which way he went.
Well, we were speculating actually that the lap times will tumble as the afternoon goes on. A few more riders just taking their positions on the grid, and well said there by Jake as well actually, is that the numbers do change on these things, so please bear with us occasionally, because I'm used to this in motocross as well, sometimes in the club races. Sometimes it's like you say, it's a friendly paddock, and if a rider's bike hits trouble, they'll nip out on another bike or share a bike with another rider, so sometimes it's a bit of a job. Luckily, we're not lap scorers. So no. Back in the day, when, especially when you had manual lap scorers as opposed to the transponder systems nowadays, they tend to be working very hard. Here we go then. So looks like riders are ready. Grid is cleared, and round number 3 of the Rich Energy British Minibikes Championship gets underway. The flag drops, and away we go into the first corner. Let's hope for a good sort of nice sweep around the outside. I think it was Luca Wilkinson getting a good jump around the outside. And up Fair Lady towards Christmas for the first time. Looks like a good clean start. Everyone through, but Arnie Carr having a look on the inside. Nice drive up the hill to Christmas going into that first corner. Everyone seems to have got away well as we go into Christmas for the first time. And as Jake said, this one rider running a bit wide through Christmas there, but looking a little bit treacherous on that first lap going through that section.
It's so greasy out there. The riders have really got to learn the circuit at full speed as they go through it. And you'll see a couple of riders getting it slightly wrong. And you can see already that the field is already spacing out quite dramatically. And that's because riders need to get confident on these bikes at speed when they're racing wheel to wheel with other riders as they go through it. So Carr has obviously got himself into a nice position out front, and he's already starting to open up the taps a little bit. And he's got the confidence already to ride away from Wilkinson. Stevenson, Newton and Bond very close in behind. Carter's in the mix there as well, so a lot of good performances coming up, but Carr has already got himself a decent, look, 2.2 seconds clear from Wilkinson already.
Arnie Carr has got this drilled on the first lap, leading by just over those 2 seconds. Wilkinson currently second from Daniel Stevenson, Jack Newton and Billy Carter rounding out the top 5. And as Jake commented there, the field already starting to spread out quite some distance. A lot of these riders relatively new to the sport with limited experience, so it really is a learning curve for them at the moment. Carr pulling away. Here we look at the second place, number 76, Luca Wilkinson, and Daniel Stevenson not too far behind as they make their way round back towards the boot complex to complete their first full flying lap. We'll get an idea of the race pace as the lap goes on.
Yeah, Stevenson has the advantage here in third position. He's watching Wilkinson, and being sat right in behind he can actually see where he's putting the fairing of the bike, where he's leaning in. He can actually gain a lot of an advantage here over Wilkinson. Carr, obviously, on the Mini GP90 bike, well, he's gone. He's already in a different postcode, checked out in front. So it's all about Carr just staying on the bike and staying in control. But Stevenson has a really good chance to get one over on Luca Wilkinson up front here, because Dan Stevenson is now just waiting for his opportunity. He's getting a little bit closer, as you can see, but he can just follow in behind Wilkinson and let him do all the hard work. He can gain an advantage of him as he comes through, as Carr is already starting to lap back markers. But look, as they come into Ashby, Stevenson is all over the back of Wilkinson.
Well, he's not quite braving the move down the inside just yet, but as you said, it's just a case here, I think, of looking at the lines. They are starting to nip past some of the tail ends. I think that may well have been Jack Beard on the number 8 that they've just lapped. Beard looks like he's wearing one of the novice bibs, just to indicate that it's an experienced rider, so just a case of being careful of some of those slow riders who, of course, are out there enjoying their own race. Carr currently making his way around the final corner as we concentrate on this battle for second place. The lap time 59.8 last time round for Carr, the race leader, who's already making his way up to Christmas. Here we see another close battle going through the boot complex, and there's the back marker, the 54 of Thomas Bond, currently in 6th place. Charlie Cunningham, Hudson Cooper, all very close as they go screaming over the line. The number 34 of Cunningham, very close indeed. As you can see here, Jake, is another case. Sometimes it's not always an advantage to be in front. Some of the riders behind almost using this as a learning experience, as we look at Cunningham having a look down the inside into Christmas. Nice little braking move down the inside and keeps it tight on the exit to maintain the position. And when the riders, of course, sometimes a case of looking at the lines and just learning almost from the rider in front.
Yeah, this is all about confidence, essentially. You can't push too hard. You've got to essentially ride to your comfort zone. And you can see that Bond is really struggling to get to grips with the changeable conditions of the circuit. He's doing his best, but he just doesn't quite have the confidence on the brake throttle, or brake or the throttle at the moment, because he's slowing it up in the right point on the braking zone, but he's just being a little bit too deliberate with the effort to slow down, essentially. And you've got to get on the throttle at the right moment. He's losing ground just by being a little bit too tentative. He has to have a little bit more strength in his own free will here to try and get away from Cunningham. Cunningham having obviously got through, Cooper is now all over the back of him, and Hudson Cooper looked very confident this morning once he got up to speed with the bike. So I imagine he's going to get on the power here, nice and easy up manuals and Fine Lady. He might even be well clear before he even gets to the braking zone. Look at that. It's just more authority and confidence on the bike. Really well taken there by Hudson Cooper. And now that he's done that, that's going to spur him on to head off after Cunningham.
Well, here we are going down towards Ashby, and great move there on the exit on the uphill. Really off-camber, tricky braking point into Ashby as one rider hits trouble. That is the 23. A bit further down the field at the moment, Ava Cushing was running in 15th place. I don't think that's going to be the case any longer as we again concentrate on this battle just in the middle of the top 10. And it looks like Charlie Cunningham now coming under a little bit of pressure as we head towards Boot. Really slow technical part of the track, and this double apex series, the two right-handers that finish off. This is, of course, it's almost one corner into two separate corners here, and carrying the speed around those last two corners. Oh, got a back marker there as well. They're going to get close here.
They have, but Cunningham made a slight mistake there, and that's going to unsettle him. He's now playing the defensive card into Crook, but watch for Cooper. He's got strength on the throttle, so he's going to be able to power out of here. He's actually second-guessing him. Look, he's trying to come around the outside. They're trying to make sure that they get this nailed right for the bike in front. I think that's Leo Solio that they're going through. It might actually be Brooks on second glance, but this is a very tricky part of the course to try and nail an overtake on the inside. So Cooper is swarming around behind Cunningham, trying to get the squeeze on the throttle pedal just at the right moment, but they're also getting past the back marker at the right moment. Well, that's gaining confidence in terms of trying to go wheel to wheel with another rider. I think he feels that that's the rider he's actually racing with, rather than trying to get out of the way to be lapped, and that's really going to hold them up. So here's an opportunity now for Cooper, who's going to enter the picture stage left. He's got very close indeed now to Cunningham, so this is a good opportunity for Cooper. Coming out of the final turn, he's going to make the move in the boot and completes it through the final apex, but now Cooper is going to have to try and defend because Cunningham's going to get back alongside. Can he make the move back again? No. Very nicely handled there by Hudson Cooper.
So a drag race there, and this is where Cooper looks quick out, seeming to get a lot of power out of the exit as they make their way up towards Christmas once again. And it looks like Cunningham just hanging on the back wheel there, just keeping an eye on those racing lines as they make their way down towards Ashby. It's still Arnie Carr that leads the way. The gap has gone up to over 10 seconds, so Carr really running away with this one at the moment as the leading group of riders filter their way through the back markers. And well, there we see the 85. I think that may actually be
oh, it's Carter. I do apologise.
Yeah,
it's Carter. They caught him. Yes, I assumed that was a back marker, but I do apologise. That was Billy Carter. They managed to catch him because he was quite a few bike lengths ahead of them up until that point. But now it's Billy Whiz himself who's really struggling to now hold on in front of Cunningham. So Cooper's already got past him. Cunningham's now the next one in. But this is a difficult one for Cunningham to get right, because now that he's caught up to Carter and tripped over him once trying to overtake, Billy Whiz is making all the right moves to keep him back. Look, he's placing the bike.
Nice.
That's really wise from Carter, because he's held the bike right in the middle of the circuit there. There's no way for Cunningham to go left or right, so he's got to try and switch it up a bit. And again, he's just placing his bike on the inside line. This is going to be so hard for Cunningham to sweep around, and he can't. This is so wise in terms of the riding stance from Carter. He's got him licked at the moment.
Good defensive riding there. He really is making Cunningham do all the work at the moment. Slower rider moving to the outside to let the faster riders through as they go down through Ashby Angle Ledge, giving you an idea of what a tricky off-cambered corner that is. Still Carr leading the way, Luca Wilkinson in second position, but over 13 seconds adrift. Here we look at the battle again with the 80.
No!
Trouble there, but Carter tripping over. Oh, bad luck there until he tripped over a slower rider. And
see, he had the right idea there. He had exactly the right idea to go wide around the outside of the back marker, and he needed to keep the his hand planted on the throttle to gain the traction around. So he did the right thing. Unfortunately, the rider on the inside being a little tentative, and he clipped the apex curb, and that's what unsettled the bike and spat him into Carter. Nothing wrong that Carter did there at all. He did exactly what he should have done. But it's just unfortunate. Red flags now. Red flags. That's unfortunate.
Looks like Carter getting a bit of medical attention at the moment. So the race has been red flagged. It was a racing incident there, but just a bit of bad luck. Like I say, an inexperienced rider getting a little bit maybe nervous on the inside, and it's just, that's the thing with experience sometimes, when the rider changes lines like that. Nobody really at fault there, but it was quite a nasty tumble. And Carter currently just getting a bit of medical treatment. So the race has been brought to a close at the moment. Well, that actually been declared as a result. So Arnie Carr will be the unofficial race winner. That will be declared very soon. Arnie Carr winning by over 11 seconds from Luca Wilkinson, Daniel Stevenson third, Jack Newton and Hudson Cooper rounding out the top five. But the race has been drawn to a close. Medics are making their way out onto the circuit because of the incident we saw a few moments ago